Good morning. We're going to begin today with some singing. This is a piece from our new hymnal, Sing Out Love, called Change is Coming by Molly Bagot. It uplifts words from queer Black author Adrienne Murray Brown's book, Emergent Strategy, and the words are, change is coming. What do we need to imagine to be prepared? So to begin, I'd actually like to set up a little foundational beat. So if you could join me, I'll snap, but you can also, clap if you can't snap. So it's sounding like this. Please snap. And then I'll begin singing, and you can join me when you feel ready. Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm not the change. That's more significant change. I'm Jane Lindsay. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a member of our board of directors, which is why I'm up here this morning. So I'd like to begin with our land acknowledgement. The land on which we gather today is the traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation, who were also the customary keepers and defenders of the Ottawa River watershed by which this church is situated. We acknowledge that our ability to live, work, and gather on these lands is a direct benefit of historic policies of expulsion and assimilation. The harms of these policies are many and still being felt. The work of reconciliation is the responsibility of all Canadians. Many of you already know this, but FirstU takes this responsibility seriously. Over time, we have marched, written, rallied, and organized learning sessions. Further, as we undertook planning to develop an affordable housing high-rise on the west side of our campus, we decided to give, you might say, give back, the northwest corner of our land to Ontario Aboriginal Housing Services. In fact, about 10 days ago, we partnered with OAHS, Ontario Aboriginal Housing Services, in a joyous ceremony for the groundbreaking of the 6-story building they will erect there. Ahead of us and our new campus residents, along with our longtime campus partners at Unitarian House Seniors Residence and River Parkway Children's Center, and our new residents, ahead of us will be both joyous and challenging times, no doubt, as we adapt to living and working with others who may well have very different life experiences and habits than we are accustomed to. This will require listening and learning with open minds and hearts by all of us. And now, as many of you know, and in fact is reflected in our lower attendance right now here this morning, the Capitol Parade today is on. It starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon. FirstU marchers are probably already gathering, but others can join them and should meet by 12:30 at FirstU's designated spot. Now, the parade staging area is at Vimy Place and Wellington Street, or another way to get to it is at Booth Street and Wellington Street. There are zones that will be marked, and ours is B110 in the red zone. Bring water bottles, though I hear it may come down this way. For those going to watch or cheer on the marchers, this year's route follows Wellington Street between Booth and Bank Street, ending at Bank and Slater in Centertown. Participating in Capital Pride is an important way FirstU lives its social justice commitments. Now, one way we here like to live our personal growth commitments is by participating in journey groups. These small, twice-monthly groups explore service themes and life's big questions. Our journey groups are sacred community spaces where personal stories and vulnerability are welcomed and growth happens. You can get registration forms at the back of Worship Hall. You can also probably after service talk with Emma Lily Sullivan, who's the lead of the groups. And you can also get a flyer there about the September theme of beginning. And you can look in the EUU. I will be available after service. Normally the board announcer is available after service in Fellowship Hall, but because I'm also at the welcome table today, I'll be back there. So if you have questions about board activities, about the congregation, or concerns, or just want to say hello to somebody, please stop there. You'll likely also find others, possibly Mariella Keblusek, though I didn't see her today. She is there, okay. There she is, in Fellowship Hall, because we still will have the coffee hour. I didn't ask if you could hear me. Could you hear me? Good, it sounded like it to me. All right, so I will now hand it over to the serious folks.
Thank you, Jane. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, bonjour. Thank you for being here today. My name is Paul. My pronouns are he and him. And I'm joined in the chancel today by Jen Bernstein, our music director, as well as Marc-Etienne Brunet, who's going to be sharing this morning's reflection, examining AI through the lens of our shared covenant. Thank you for being here. It is good to be together this morning. If you are joining us online, hello, hello. We are glad to have you with us. Please share a greeting in the chats and get a candle ready to light it with us. Even though you're not here in body, we know that you're here in mind and soul. I also want to extend a special welcome to those of you who are visiting us today. If you are new to FirstU, please stop at our welcome table where Jane will be to learn about this vibrant community and stick around for coffee and fellowship hour. We're delighted to have you with us. You are beloved and you are welcome here. Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, you are beloved and welcome here, whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful. You are beloved and you are welcome here, whether you have untold stories buried deep inside or stories that have been forced beyond the edge of comfort. You are beloved and welcome here, whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises. You are beloved and welcome here, whatever is on your heart, however it is in your soul in this moment. You are beloved and welcome here. Whomever you love, in whatever body, of whatever gender, of any heritage, faith, culture, or race, come into this place of peace and let its silence heal your spirit. Come into this place of memory and let its history warm your soul. Come into this place of prophecy and let its power change the vision in your heart. Today is the second to last service of our summer programming, and we go full on into the adjacent possible of AI. Indeed, it seems like recently artificial intelligence growth is often more than just one step ahead from our current state of being. Or is it? Most of us struggle to apply our fourth and fifth principles, the responsible search for truth, and the democratic process for all. I know I do. Thankfully, our guest speaker and fellow congregant Marc-Etienne Brunet, who works directly in AI research, will help us observe and decode this new reality via the lens of our shared covenant. So welcome, dear friends, to our hour of worship this morning, and may you find it a blessing. It's good to be together. Now let us join our voices in song. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing together All Our Architects of Fate, hymn 288 in the gray hymnal.
Good morning. My name's Lori Foster McLeod. I'm a second worship associate today, and my pronouns are she and her. Our centering words today are by Stephen Winters Bona. A beacon in chaotic times. We light this chalice during chaotic times. I invite you to allow its light to guide you, to bring you to a place where you feel balanced and present. Let it remind you to feel your breath, to surround yourself with the things you cherish, lead you to remember one of your happy places. Let it help you release the things you cannot control and remember that you are not alone, that we are all connected and all working to be a beacon of light in this chaotic time. Carry this light with you, not in your hands, but in your words, in your invitations, in your willingness to begin. And it's chalice lighting time. And Joseph, could you come up and help? Thank you. We light our chalice as a symbol of our faith, the light of truth, and the warmth of love.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jody McIntosh. I am the Director of Religious Exploration, and I use she and her pronouns. So we have a story this morning. It is called The President of the Jungle by Andre Rodriguez. Now, what does this have to do with AI? Well, it's all about who gets to make the choices. So this book is about democracy, and the people get to make the choices of who will control things. And in this case, we are talking about AI. So I have asked 3 friends to help tell the story. So if they want to come down now, my third friend that's okay. She disappeared, but she'll be back in a second. Beautiful. Wherever you want to. Oh, I have 3 friends here too. Fantastic. So the lion wanted a swimming pool. So because he was the king of the jungle, he rerouted the river to flow into his front yard. And now he had the pool because he was the one in control. It's ridiculous. Only lion thinks just for himself. The other animals were not happy. They missed the river, and lion had gone too far. Maybe he should not be king of the jungle. What if we had a new leader? Let's protest. We have no water for my children. They are thirsty. So the animals decided to have a demonstration. They marched to the lion's swimming pool to protest. Occupy the jungle. Hashtag occupy the jungle. Say no to the lion's pool. Give our river back. The king needs to go. But lion couldn't care less what they thought. So the animals decided it was time for a new leader. Let's be a democracy. Let's hold an election. What's an election? Good question. We're going to find out. So in an election, everyone who wants to be the leader can become a candidate and put together a campaign. And each animal gets to vote for the leader. That sounds pretty fair, right? Everyone gets a choice. The candidate who gets the most votes becomes the president, and they get to make the decisions. So everyone liked this idea, so they drew up the rules for the election. Rules for election number 1. We will hold an election every spring. Any animal can be a candidate. Each animal gets 1 vote. Votes are secret. The candidate with most votes wins. And candidates cannot trade gifts for votes, and candidates cannot eat their opponents. So monkey, sloth, snake, they were all excited to become candidates for this election. Lion didn't want to be left out, so he became a candidate too. And then the campaign began. So Lion goes first. My beloved subjects, I descend from a long line of kings. It was my cherished great-great-great-grandfather who expelled the smelly possums so the rest of us could live in peace. I provided jobs so the animals who diverted the water from the river to build my swimming pool. And if something is not broken, do not fix it. For tradition, vote lion. The next candidate was monkey.
It is time for lion to go. The king is sneaky and is as slippery as a rotten banana peel. He said we could all swim in his pool, and now we can't. Under my leadership, everything will be different, and we will build burrows and homes for everyone. No more lies. Monkey for president.
Next up, we have snake.
I am a popular snake. I grew up in the jungle with all of you. I've crawled through the burrows and nests getting to know you. We have faced the great drought together, and we have survived fires and hunters. You know I will be there for you. Vote snake.
Next up, we have sloth.
My fellow animals, it is time to plan our future together. I want to hear from all of you. And please don't judge me by my name. I am not lazy. I don't rush because good government does not happen overnight. With patience, we will make the jungle better for everyone. Vote for sloth.
Thank you to all the candidates. So each candidate got busy trying to convince the voters that they would be the best leader. They went on TV, they took selfies with the voters, they handed out pamphlets and discussed the issues. They held rallies and they said wild things about the other candidates. They put up posters and they discussed more issues. Finally, Election Day. The animals lined up to cast their votes, their secret votes, in the ballot box. Owl was in charge of counting the votes, and unfortunately, Lion got disqualified for violating rule number 6. He had been giving voters peanuts so that they would choose him. And when the votes were added up, the new president was announced. Who do you think it was? What is your guess? Owl? Who thinks sloth? Who thinks snake? Who thinks monkey? Okay, all of them. Well, I don't know. I think there is a winner. It was sloth! So the animals all gathered to hear Sloth's victory speech. Actually, we'll get Sloth to read the victory speech.
In this election, I learned so much from everybody. We each have something to say, and we all should listen. Lion wants to be recognized for all his work. Monkey wants us to have food and shelter. Snake and I agree. We are stronger when we work together. First thing I will do as president is create a team to help us make the jungle a great place for every animal.
Thank you, Sloth. So in a way, one of my friends said, well, I think all of them will win. And in a way they did, right? Because Sloth decided to make the decisions for the people. And that is the story of how Sloth became the jungle's first president. And of course, not everyone was happy with the election results, so it was a good thing that there would be another election next year. Okay, friends, I am so pleased with how many of you joined us today. We are going to be going downstairs and outside for our religious exploration today. So that's where the parents will come and pick them up. And let's sing our children on our way.
Will our ushers please come forward, please? Please, please. Also, don't forget that you can make a donation online by scanning the QR code on the screen or on the back of the order of service with your mobile device. Thank you. Since 1967, this sacred sanctuary has permitted generous people, such as yourselves, to gather in community and in fellowship. Many lives have been changed by gratefully receiving our gifts, which are freely given. And this is not just within these walls, but without as well. Your contributions are a tangible commitment to the mission and vision of FirstU. Each time you give, you renew this commitment. And as a result, your support is intertwined with all that we believe and all that we do here together. This is its own special gift. Give what you will for the church that has meant so much for you, for the church that has meant so much for those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much for the people you will never know. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. I offer in gratitude this text by Deborah Hefner, inspired by the words of Meiser Eckhart. If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. The title is For All That Is Good in Our Lives. May we whisper thank you for all that is good in our lives. Thank you. May we shout thank you for the abundance of blessings. Thank you. May we feel thank you, thank you, thank you, deep within our hearts and around us right now. May we be thankful down to our bones for this time together. May we take the time to feed each other, to take care of each other, to appreciate and trust each other, and say thank you. This is the only prayer we'll ever need. Each time we gather together for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. Together we recognize the cycle of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. From our larger world community, today is the International Day of Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its abolition. On the night of August 22nd to 23rd, 1791, men and women torn from Africa and sold into slavery revolted against the slave system in Saint-Domingue, who is now Haiti, to obtain freedom and independence. This uprising set forth events that eventually led to the abolition of the slave trade. For many colonial countries like Canada, recognizing our part in the transatlantic slave trade may be painful, but cannot be denied. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called not only to awareness, but also to action by our 5th, 6th, and 7th, and 8th principles. I feel like there aren't enough stones, nor enough bowls to contain them that could represent the volume and the depth of the sorrow caused to the Black people then and now as a result of that terrible and dehumanizing practice. Nevertheless, let us also drop stones of hope, courage, determination as we continue to grapple with this systemic foe, and may we gain the wisdom to recognize it where it still endures today. I invite you now to come forward as you feel moved. Oh wait, no, sorry. From our own community, we'll drop a stone for Terrell Armstrong. Wishing you continued smooth recovery from your laparoscopic surgery last Wednesday. May you get well soon. Thank you. Now, You can come forward as you feel moved to do so and share your own stones of celebration or sorrow with the caring community. A last stone, as always, represents all that remains silent in the sanctuary of our hearts. As we join together in a moment of silent reflection, may this prayer by Christian Smith help us consider all that has been shared and lifted. Spirit of life and love, be with us in this time as people suffer, as parents grieve, as violence rages. Be with us who feel the pain of loss, who feel anger at injustice. Be with the oppressed and change the heart of the oppressor, for we know that both are joined in their humanity, no matter how often we forget it. Help us remember the hope that we had, the hope that we have, and the hope that we will have. Help us to remember joy in the midst of sadness, success in the midst of challenge, and good things in the midst of bad. Help us to be better people, to work for better things, and to create a better world. Amen.
For today, we don't have a choir today, so you just have me. And this seems like a good week to me to sing my favorite Dolly Parton song for you. So the anthem this morning will be Light of a Clear Blue Morning. It's been a long, dark night. I've been waiting for the morning. It's been a long, hard fight. But I see a brand new day dawning. I've been looking for the sunshine. I ain't seen it in so long. Everything's gonna work out fine. Everything's gonna be alright. It's all been wrong. 'Cause I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a brand new day. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. Everything's gonna be alright. It's gonna be okay. It's been a long, long time since I've known the taste of freedom and those clinging vines had me bound. Well, I don't need 'em. I've been like a captured eagle. You know, an eagle's born to fly. Now that I have won my freedom, like an eagle, I am eager for the sky. 'Cause I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a brand new day. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright.
Lovely. And now we have a responsive reading. And your words will be up there, and I'll start us off. This is a reading called Freedom by John Milton. And please read the words in green in response. Our faith and knowledge thrive by exercise, as well as our limbs and complexion. The light which we have gained was given us not to be ever staring on, but by it to discover onward things more remote from our knowledge. Give me liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience above all liberties. For who knows not that truth is strong next to the Almighty? She needs no policies, no stratagems to make her victorious.
Today, we are delighted to welcome Marc Brunet, who will be sharing a reflection on the topic examining AI through the lens of our shared covenant. Marc-Etienne Brunet is a member of First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa and father of two. He has a PhD in machine learning from the University of Toronto and currently leads an applied research team focused on AI trustworthiness and security. He has a keen interest in the political economy of technology. Welcome, Marc-Etienne.
Thank you. How's the volume? Great. Move the mic closer. Thank you. Towards the end of 2022, I was finishing my PhD in machine learning at the University of Toronto. It was a tough time for me. I had started my PhD shortly after my daughter was born, just as the COVID-19 pandemic really took hold. The loneliness of early childhood parenting in a pandemic, combined with the maddening solidarity of PhD work, had really taken a toll. I was tired, and I was burning out. As a graduate student in one of Canada's newly formed strategic AI research institutes, and an academic grandchild of famed researcher Geoffrey Hinton, I inhabited a very hot world of AI research. I shared hallways with scientists who would go on to win top awards, including the Nobel Prize. When ChatGPT launched at the end of that year, the field of AI erupted. Oh, should I go closer?
It's just, if it's not perfectly pointed, it starts to look like feedback.
Okay, great. Is that better? No more feedback? Project. When ChatGPT launched at the end of that year, the field of AI erupted into the public sphere. The world was swept by a firestorm of AI hype and attention. Suddenly, what had only been promised in theory was here in the concrete, available to everyone with a laptop. ChatGPT became the fastest growing consumer app in history, reaching 100 million users in just 2 months. Since then, generative AI has continued to increase in performance and capabilities, consistently outpacing even the most optimistic predictions of scientific progress. It's hard to overstate the speed of change. The spread of this powerful new technology has fueled prophetic predictions about the future that range from utopian optimism to complete societal collapse and everything in between. It has left many people, including those closest to its development, with a feeling of uncertainty that is deeply unsettling. I expect that this feeling is shared by many in the congregation. The goal of my reflection today is to speak to that uncertainty and examine AI through the lens of our shared covenant. One of the things that I love about this community is that our values are quite literally written on the wall. And I cherish this opportunity to reflect on my field of work through an explicitly ethical lens. I want to start with a shared foundation and address the question, what is AI? Is it a humanoid robot playing the violin? Is it HAL 9000 from 2001: Space Odyssey? Is it Microsoft's Clippy, the helpful paperclip? A proper answer to this question would take much more time than we have, but I'll try nonetheless. Artificial intelligence is a broad field of study that dates back to the 1950s. There have been many methodological approaches, but the last decade of research has focused heavily on deep learning. This is a form of machine learning that uses large statistical models based loosely on the architecture of the brain to distill knowledge and understanding by extracting patterns from large amounts of data. In the last 5 years, we have seen a shift from a more classic predictive machine learning to generative AI, where the model's output takes on a qualitatively different nature, that of producing new content. Most recently, we've seen a further shift to agentic AI systems, where the model is used as an engine inside of a digital entity that has some amount of autonomy. It is typically given a task description, along with access to tools like web search, and allowed time to plan, reason, and adapt. So with that background, let's talk about the risks of modern AI. I'm sure many of you have heard the common concerns discussed at length. There is a concern about job automation and the risk of creating groups of people who become economically superfluous. In a world where so much value is placed on employment, this risk butts up against our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Of course, there are the environmental impacts of AI, the construction of data centers, supply chains, and waste streams that strain our respect for the interdependent web of all existence for which we are a part. There is a concern about misinformation and AI's ability to produce it at scale, which can obstruct a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. There is the risk of bias and prejudice being absorbed and encoded into automated decisions, which could make it more difficult to take communal action to dismantle racism. There are many more risks as well, but rather than trying to touch on all of them, I'm going to focus on a few parts of the discussion that get less airtime. These relate most to our fifth principle, a democratic process and voice for all. First, I think it's important to step back and recognize that almost any list of AI risks carries implicit ideological assumptions. Terms like safety and prejudice and even misinformation are essentially contested concepts. They do not have an objective meaning, but rather include implicit value judgments. So when any organization releases a list of AI risks, we get more than just a scientific analysis, we get their values. For example, the International AI Safety Report begins with a categorization of AI safety risks. When they identify something they judge to be a risk, they label it as either A, arising from malicious use, B, a possible malfunction, or C, a systemic risk. But consider the risk of autonomous weapons controlled by AI. Who decides if this risk should get categorized as a malicious use or is simply arising from a possible malfunction? Will this categorization change depending on whether those weapons are developed by the Canadian military, by Lockheed Martin, or by the Chinese government? And what about the risks of job automation? Is this an inevitable systemic risk that we must accept? Or should we consider this a malicious use of the technology? The answer is not objective. Rather, it is rooted in a class struggle that has been going on for centuries. This is related to another topic that gets less airtime. Who gets to imbue AI with its opinions? There is a common misconception that these models are somehow objective, either because of the data or because of governing law. Well, there is no such thing as an objective data set at the scope of a model like ChatGPT. And the governing laws in North America and many other parts of the world are still thin. If Sam Altman decided tomorrow that ChatGPT should answer the question, what is the best political ideology, with simply the answer techno-capitalism, there would be no legal repercussions in Canada or the United States. Now, this example is a bit simplistic, but it is a caricature of something very real. Before they are released, these models undergo a training process that aims to control their responses on sensitive and value-laden issues. In effect, the model's values are being designed. These large language models are on their way to becoming global infrastructure. ChatGPT alone is an application that processes over 2 billion user requests per day. And yet these values are being determined by a tiny group of people. My wife is a lawyer, and she advised me to add a clarification here for the recording. I am not accusing OpenAI of shaping their model's values in a malicious way. But the process is very far from a democracy. The fight for a future where AI is aligned with our values is a fight to pull these kinds of decisions out of elite technocratic circles and corporate boardrooms and into public institutions. I also want to address the existential risk, the fear of runaway AI taking over control in the not-so-distant future. There are very credible scientists who are concerned about this, most notably Nobel laureate Geoffrey Hinton, as well as Yoshua Bengio, who is now the most cited living scientist. They are concerned that we may build super intelligent AI with insufficiently constrained objectives, and in the pursuit of these objectives, the AI will cause a great deal of human harm. This brings us back, improbably, to paperclips. There was a famous thought experiment on this theme where AI is asked to maximize the production of paperclips. In the pursuit of this objective, the AI decides that humans are in the way. It realizes it could produce far more paperclips if we weren't around, tying up resources. And so inadvertently, we usher in a future that ends up brimming with paperclips, but devoid of humans. We have seen some evidence of this kind of behavior from AI agents, it's true. However, as journalist Cory Doctorow reminds us, this is not a new problem. We have unleashed this kind of runaway technology before. To paraphrase his point, the paperclip maximizer already exists. We call it the profit-maximizing corporation. Now, there are qualitative differences, of course, but the core of his point is that we know what happens when artificial entities with oversimplified objectives grow to overpower everyday people and their governments. It is not something that we may need to deal with in a hypothetical future, but rather it is here now. In an interview on the Ezra Klein Show, award-winning science fiction author Ted Chiang remarked that most fears about AI are best understood as fears about capitalism. Or more specifically, they are fears about how capitalism will use this technology against us. And I think it's important to sit with that. We have to understand AI not simply as a standalone scientific artifact or a technological tool, but rather within the context of the economic system that is fueling its development. Throughout the majority of the world, economic relations are structured by a highly financialized form of capitalism and neoliberal policies. Even here in Canada, the economy is not under democratic control. Rather, decades of wage stagnation and rising costs of living are leaving people squeezed. Unions are weak, while growth at the top has led to a massive wealth and power gap. All this context matters because the impact of a technology has at least as much to do with the social and economic context as it does with the scientific or technical novelty of the idea. If these modern AI breakthroughs had been achieved at the height of labor power and the IP was owned by public research institutions, their impacts would be different. Look, I recognize that this reflection has focused on risks and thus not taken a particularly optimistic tone. However, I choose to remain optimistic, and I hope you do too. Not out of naivety, but out of necessity. Unless we are actively looking for opportunities, we will miss them. And there are opportunities. AI, like previous digital technologies, has the potential to be used to raise the floor, enabling access to knowledge and expertise that was previously inaccessible. It also has the potential for disrupting existing power dynamics in a way that may allow citizens and democratic movements to gain a better foothold. For example, the marginal impact of ChatGPT developing legal expertise may be much more significant to a broke tenant being wrongly evicted than it is to the property management firm with a flush legal budget. So the takeaway I want to leave you with is that while most people cannot directly influence AI technology, they can shape its impact by attempting to transform the society that it is born into. From that perspective, despite the rapid change, there is also continuity, because the core of the fight is the same fight, one that Unitarians have a history of showing up for, and I trust this community to participate in wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Our closing hymn today is number 298 in your gray hymnals, Wake Now My Senses. We'll be doing the first 3 verses, so please rise in body or spirit.
Please join us next week as Lori and Jonathan wrap up our summer series on the adjacent possible. And now, as we prepare to extinguish our chalice, let these words from Craig Rowland guide us forward. The title is A Shared Path. Let us leave this gathering not with the pressure to be polished, but with the permission to be real, to say the awkward thing kindly, to reach out before the words are perfect, to risk being seen, and in doing so, make space for other to be seen too. In a world that often asks us to curate and filter, may we remember truth is magnetic. And small acts of honesty can call a community into being. Carry this light with you, not in your hands, but in your words, in your invitations, and in your willingness to begin. Go in peace. Live simply, gently, at home in yourselves. Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Take care of your bodies as you are a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves. And as you go with the dream that peace is alive in your heart. Go in peace, my friends. Go making peace. Please rise in body and spirit as we come together one last time for our closing song, Spirit of Life, number 123.
Spirit